way, yeah, I can't lie to him. As a guy who still buys $30 to $50 worth of books every week, the idea of being...
So that's 3 books?
Yeah, exactly. The idea of spending another year being reaffirmed that these guys are the centerpiece of the DCU is not particularly... Well, great love to Kurt, who's very talented, Bagley's very talented. It just doesn't particularly do much for me. And if it was me and I was doing the weekly, as I said to you guys the other day, Justice League, to me, is like the no-brainer. Do a big, epic thing. Have these guys literally twisty-turny, membership up and down all over the place. And then by the end of that big year-long epic, stick with a fucking lineup and hold them for 2 years.
There's at least 5 or 6 issues of Justice League sitting around that round table trying to figure out.
Well, look at a picture. Apparently they do not have it digitized.
What's the game with a memory where you flip the card?
Guess who?
Concentration.
Yeah, guess who as well.
Brian,
I'm just amazed. Jeff is like a DC message board come to life and find out.
So Brian, you worked with Mark Bagley for a while.
I miss him terribly.
Actually,
the whole book.
Come back to Marvel, Mark.
It's Mark Bagley. It's colored by Pete Pentazis, who used to color Powers, and it literally, to me, it's like Kurt's fucking all my ex-girlfriends. It's really.
and it's turning out well on the page.
Yeah.
That's another great book quote.
You know what? Your girlfriends used to fuck you better than your parents.
That was sweet.
Wow.
That was sweet.
In a
weird way.
Yes, sir.
Looking at something like this and looking at how this and the previous DC weekly series have been received, do you feel like for Marvel this is an argument for or against having a weekly series?
No, I mean, it'd be like pointing at a DC monthly book, which is most of them and saying, because this is shitty, this is a monthly book.
But I think you're right.
At the end of the day, it's all about good story. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's weekly, monthly, yearly,
Daily.
a low book.
Yeah.
The frontier.
No, it's okay. I got it.
It really doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a matter of execution. I mean, I think, for example, Steve Wacker and the guys who are working on the Spider-Man titles, 3 times a week, Spider-Man, the constant rotating cast of the writers. And the thing about, what's unique about Brand New Day and the stories that come after that is that Trinity has a definite end. They know where they're going with the story and where it's going to end, and they can sort of take a break. But Spider-Man, there is no break. It's the constant soap opera, and I think they're doing a great job considering the magnitude of that. The fact that when Steve did 52, he knew at 52 there was no 53. Well, maybe there was. I wasn't reading, but but he
Clearly, you didn't.
He knows it's amazing that there's no end in sight. It is the greatest Sisyphus stone in publishing.
This has an ending. I thought this is a weekly.
It is a week
For a year.
But it's going to end in 2 issues.
But issue 52 will be the last.
And I'll bet you the moral is that Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are the centerpiece of the DCU.
They need to work together.
Yes,
In spite of our
Great
differences.
metaphor.
Wait, I thought it was like to see which one she would go out with.
I actually saw. No, I saw the last script. So I know how it ends, but I won't ruin the whole thing.
You did?
Was it me? The last panel.
He's that far-
What the last
he's
panel.
that far
I'll tell you
ahead?
what the last panel is. I won't say it, but it says "Let's fuck." And that's it.
We're going to move on and talk about
Wonder Woman's new.
Okay, now
Here's a comic I've never seen.
Marvel Zombies 3, number 2. So let's talk about this. We've been really enjoying this series.
Yeah.
What is the lasting appeal of Marvel Zombies?
I don't know.
The answer's in the question. The answer's really in the question there, isn't it?
Indeed, because we're reading it. But this one is much better than the second one, I think.
Jason Aaron write this?
He should have.
He should have. If he would have, it'd be even better.
We like Fred.
He's ghostwriting under Fred Van Lente, I think.
Yeah.
No, it takes it back to a more kind of basic zombie story, I think. And I think the second one was they were flying through space more.
Right to Robert Kirk.
Yeah. No, I'm not complaining.
Care of Image Comics, Berkeley, California.
Actually, what's great is that Robert is so famous you can just put Robert Kirkman on an envelope. I
either that or there are so few people in Kentucky that can actually read that they just. I didn't know which show.
So
was gonna
he
fly.
reads every
Come on.
piece of
He's
mail.
the only, no, he's the only guy in Kentucky with the green screen.
It gets to David Mack first.
I got that. That's good. That's excellent.
Very insular joke.
Right.
I think the appeal of the zombie books in general, like a lot of this sort of off-universe stuff that we do, is that Marvel always has a sense of humor about what it is that we do. If not, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. But you know, it's just a fun romp, and it's just like, you know, look how crazy we can get and how stupid we can get. In a lot of companies, this can't happen. But we're, you know, we're cool about our stuff. So, you know, our characters eating each other's brains.
I was there for the birth of this. We all were there. I was at a retreat just like today, and Mark Millar goes, "I got an idea."
I can actually understand. Can't you do it a little thicker?
They're Marvel zombies, but they're really zombies. I literally turned out, Snedon, you're so stupid.
The best was like
$1
he
billion
wrote that.
later.
He wrote that for Ultimate Fantastic Four, and I read it. I'm like, you know, we got to do a series about this. And Mark thought I was joking. He's like, "You're joking, right?" I'm like, "No, this has got legs. It's going to be great." And
No, it was that year. Every idea Mark had when he said it out loud, I wanted to slap him in the face.
Right.
And then when I read it, I go, "Yeah, that was a great idea." And I remember he goes, "I got an idea. Wolverine should fight the shark." And I really, well, it was great, but yeah.
So pick up my.
By the way, I don't do accents. I just,
Let's go on and talk about Invincible Iron Man.
It's a game.
Yeah, we talked about it already a little bit, but you want to talk us through at least this issue? It's an epilogue.
Yeah, it's been a
Did you
pretty
all have
heavy.
You all have that little sort of warm, yummy puppy face on, which I never get.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's not true.
It's been sort of a dark.
Wow. You guys, we should switch seats, Jeff.
You know,
You guys can kiss.
I'm
while
just
the rest
thinking
of the
about
show.
all three of us on a plane. Get to go.
Okay, go ahead. No, it's been a kind of a bleak 6 issues, and it's going to be a really rough year for Tony. And I had sort of one kind of chance to take a breather before we go launching into the next thing.
well, A, he's a squirrel. Sorry.
After he dies at the end of Secret Invasion, it's going to be really hard. Yeah, and the Spider-Man thing hadn't been dealt with post brand new One More Day, and I had a lot of fun writing Spider-Man the last time I got to write it. And it was like a little loose end, and it was sort of like the opportunity to do an old school. And Spider-Man even says in the most dumbass things that I do, like, "Hey, this is just like the old days," because I was like, "Hey, this is just like that." Save, send,
You've learned well.
I might have been born yesterday, but I stayed up all night. So it was the last chance to have just a lot of
3 years
fun.
ago, Brian, when he was like writing independent posts, please buy my shit.
Exactly. Corn dog, Mr. Queso.
Yeah.
Mr. Quesada.
Could you read? I know it's printed on a newspaper bag, but you know. Yeah, it was a chance to have some fun, and like I said, it had been 6 issues of Repulsor Tech Suicide Bombers, and it's going to be a very big year and dark year, and it was like, let's let a little air into the place and just sort of have a
But
good time.
even more interesting, some people know, but not everyone knows, that you were in LA recently working with Jon Favreau on Iron Man 2.
And Justin Thoreau on
Tell him how
Man
Iron Man 2 ends.
2. He goes, "You know what? I'm not Iron Man."
That's fun.
It ends.
Rose,